Okay, so I'm going to react to that Mike Tyson thing. I'm not even going to really call it a fight because it was not a fight and it was sad, to be honest. And clearly, this isn't a live reaction. I watched it last night. I'm filming this today, and my reaction's probably not going to be much different from anyone's, except the idiots that think it was a rigged fight. Rigged fights obviously do happen in boxing, and it was so mismatched. You could suspect that. I get it, but that's not typically how the corruption of boxing works. How corruption in boxing works is typically the champion will lose and they'll give it to the champion anyways because that's the cash cow and they're the favorite for bringing in people and making money. That's typically how corruption in boxing works. Also, people get padded records from taking weak fighters or people that take bribes and do dives as well. But this wasn't that. I don't believe. Mike Tyson did have a lot of his friends there, which made it more embarrassing or sad. I don't really want to say embarrassing because I don't want to, just throw shit at Mike Tyson. Everyone likes Mike Tyson. Not many people like Jake Paul. I think most people wanted Mike to win, but it's not realistic to hope for that. But yeah, he had Rosie Perez there, which was one of his friends. He had people that he boxed before, Lennox Lewis there. He had Roy Jones there. He had a lot of people in the commentary that he knew. It seemed like most people were there rooting for him. A lot of people that were famous in the 90s, Shaquille O'Neal came out to see him knock out Jake Paul, the older guys that maybe are a little bit diluted with it. And that was probably the main draw, is older guys that wanted to see if they still have it through Mike Tyson, basically. And it turned out not to be the fact, to an embarrassing degree. And it was sad. And I think it probably shouldn't have happened, to be honest. I guess Mike wants that last paycheck, and why not? But he's got a lot of things going on. He has the marijuana ranch, he has the podcasting, he has lots of businesses. He seems very stable, so I don't think he needed to take the hit to the legacy. I don't know if he cares about the legacy. But yeah, to get into the fight, Mike Tyson was basically just standing there doing nothing, and he was tired by doing very minimal. Like, I've done a little bit of boxing. I don't want to, compare myself to Mike Tyson, obviously, but even when you're not doing a lot, just being in the ring with high anxiety and kind of being hyper focused to have your twitch muscles or whatever they're called firing, it takes a lot out of you just to kind of underperform. But that's obviously not what you'd expect from Mike Tyson. And he more or less was just standing there the whole time. He's 58, so why would you expect differently? I guess 4 years ago with Roy Jones, he was a lot sharper. His footwork was better, but they were both quite old. And I guess when you're in your 50s, 4 years is probably like 40. Your aging is probably accelerated quite a lot at that point in your career / life. And Jake Paul knows this. That's his whole gimmick. You don't really have to explain it. Everyone who knows already that he's just picking old people. And there's memes out there like Jake's next fight is Clint Eastwood. Jake Paul just calls out Clint Eastwood and they have the alarm bell emojis and shit. Like, he's just calling out old people because he knows he's going to win. I think the sad part was Jake didn't try to knock him out or box him too heavy to give him damage at that age, and that's the proper thing to do, obviously. And Rosie Perez said at one point, well, why doesn't Jake just tee off on Mike? And they're like, well, we don't want to see that, and nobody would want to see that. But the alternative, people don't want to see either. People don't want to see Jake Paul, taking it easy, and then the two of them just standing there the whole time, and it not actually being a fight. It wasn't actually even a sparring match. It was completely nothing. even without trying to knock him out, which I think Mike Tyson would have got knocked out, he wasn't even throwing the jab a lot. He was just kind of doing a little bit of footwork, a little bit of maneuvering. He was doing one jab every, it seemed like his jabs, it almost seemed like he was only doing one jab round. Like it was obviously way more than that, but like he wasn't even working the jab. He didn't want to hurt Mike to that degree. So I think what happened was they thought that this was going to be real, and it turned out not to be. And Jake felt bad, and afterwards people were kind of hyping up Mike. They were saying, but I don't know who that guy is, Ariel or whatever, the banned UFC commentator. He was giving softball questions to Mike after, and he was kind of hinting like, hey, don't do this again. And Mike was kind of tone deaf on it. And then Logan Paul, Jake Paul's brother, was just as tone deaf and basically tried to embarrass Mike. And it was really crazy. And at one point, Mike showed his ass. His naked ass in the locker room was shown on the stream. The stream was glitchy. Netflix wasn't streaming it very well. A lot of people were complaining about buffering issues. It was pretty bad. It was depressing. It was like taking a depression pill. Like, it wasn't boxing. It wasn't entertainment. It was just a shit show money grab, and it was really sad. It was quite depressing. It makes me feel bad about aging. It's like, holy fuck. Like, if that happens to Mike Tyson, like, I'm going to be in a wheelchair at fucking 58. Like, what the fuck is going to happen to me? So thanks for that, Netflix. That's a fucking great thing to fucking give everyone at the end of the night. A little bit of fucking sobering depression. It's like a German folk fairy tale where Santa comes or that other alternate Santa comes and fucking beats all the kids with a stick. It was like that. It's like, what the fuck? I'm trying to relax on the weekend here and fucking watch something cool, and it turns out to be something extremely soberingly depressing and stupid, and it was nonsense, and I fucking hate it. And now people are going to be looking at Mike differently. They're not going to, the fans and the people that love Mike aren't going to say it publicly, but everyone's going to look at him differently. So it was a shit show. The undercards, I watched the 4 main undercards on the Netflix special streaming thing. I didn't watch the ones on the YouTube, the extra prelims. And frankly, I was kind of going in and out of focus. I was on my phone. I was, texting people and things. It wasn't great. I think the first undercard was another YouTuber thing. It went to an actual kind of 12-round standard boxing match. The next one, and it was going back and forth, and it seemed okay, but nothing like a classic boxing match. Don't want to diss the people that are boxing, obviously. Then the undercard, the 2 women, was kind of people getting mad about that on X, Twitter, whatever, saying that she was robbed. I don't know if she was or not. I see it differently. I did see some headbutts, but it's not like how you would envision like a headbutt in a street fight or in a dirty fight where they're just headbutting to open up cuts, which obviously did happen. But what dirty boxers do with the head is they lead with the head. So if the other person comes in too aggressively, they hit the head, and the head actually works kind of like a shield, like the top of the head, because now it's a threat. So you can do less, because if you keep coming in aggressively when they lead with the head down like that, then you get cut up from the head, and it's kind of, it's like a passive aggressive headbutt. It's a dirty strategy. It's not like a legitimate, like just throwing headbutts and elbows type thing. So I understand the anger there. But that's kind of like a gray area in boxing that a lot of people use. Holyfield used to do that quite a bit. I don't know if Mike Tyson did it, but probably. Like, it's very common. It's unfortunate. It's shitty. I don't think it's an actual it's a gray area. It's not an actual rule because they're not throwing the headbutt. They're just kind of setting a trap for somebody to walk into a headbutt. So it's like a de facto gray area headbutt, and I don't think there's any actual rule against that. Obviously, there's a rule no headbutting, but this technically on paper isn't a headbutt. It's a loophole. So I can see people pissed off about that. Then the other lady did score more punches. So on points, you would assume that she would win. And this could be an example of boxing corruption. Like, the people that are upset could be right. I found that the dirty fighter was landing harder shots, though. I don't know how they judge it. That could come into play. If I was watching it, I would look at the person making the harder shots, and that was the person that did win, that was getting booed. So, I mean, I could see it going either way. I didn't see their first fight. This was their second fight, and apparently the first fight was the same outcome. I don't know if it was because of headbutts, but this lady has 2 wins against her now, and a lot of people make a big deal about losses that they view as controversial. So I could go either way on this. Again, I was kind of drifting in and out of paying attention. I was texting on my phone and doing things. I really only came to see the Jake Paul Tyson fight, which was exactly how I expected it to be, but I was hoping it wouldn't be. I was hoping that Mike Tyson would knock this guy out. I was hoping that Mike Tyson would give us one last classic, one last, first round knockout, and this fucking lippy influencer would just get knocked out finally, because he's been picking on like old people. So Mike Tyson was kind of put in here as the savior, the king of the old people, but it's like, what the fuck? Like, that's who would think that Mike would win? The whole time I was like, is Jake gonna knock this guy out, or is he gonna just let him last for the 8 rounds and take the check? And that's what he did. But also the whole time I was like, come on, Mike, like, knock this guy out, like, do one more knockout, get in there, do your fucking shit, and just sleep this guy. And he didn't have it in him, and it was sad, but this is my reaction to it. I was rambling on, and hopefully somebody watches this and agrees with me. It seems like it's pretty much the de facto opinion. Like, I don't think I've said anything that's drifting far away from the general consensus on this. It was really sad. It was quite a sad thing to see, and maybe we need that sadness. Maybe we need that reality now, because people are flying high, and I think we're about to get some shock treatment and humbled pretty hard soon, especially with the way that the world politics are going, and potential wars and trade wars. And I think we're going to get some shock treatment soon. So maybe this is going to prepare us. It's going to, in a micro way, people having drunk, trying to spend money, having fun in Vegas or wherever this was. Maybe this is going to wake some old boomers up that shit's getting real. I don't know. I'm making a big leap. I don't know if I've talked too much, but anyways, if you like this, maybe you'll like the video on Charlie Zelenoff I posted. Charlie Zelenoff is back. If you don't know him, he's basically a schizophrenic guy that assaults people and claims he's a boxer. Another sad thing, like, boxing is taking some real big L's and some sad hits right now, which it always has. I mean, Sonny Liston died of heroin. The mob might have killed him. Like, there's people that have died in the ring. There's a lot of CTE. Muhammad Ali obviously had CTE, and he had Parkinson's because of it, and Freddie Roach too. Like, boxing is always checkered with sad stories, but I don't know what I'm trying to say anymore. Bye.